All right. I'm going to hit go and we will officially begin. So this is lead generation 36123 and I'm Rebecca Del Pozo. I'm your instructor for the next 45 minutes, maybe an hour. We'll see how it goes. And this is a Keller Williams University approved course. However, anyone in real estate, anyone in any kind of business really would benefit from being a part of this conversation. So I posted in all the different groups I'm a part of, and I just would love to hear from a few of you who are with me live right now. What about this class caught your attention? And for you to feel like this is worth your time over the next 45 minutes together, you know, what's one thing you would really want me to focus on? So go ahead and unmute yourself and chime in and just let me know.
Well, I'll chime in, Rebecca. Who doesn't want more deals, right? You said 36 more deals in a year, and then always up to learning new lead generation techniques. I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to hear different methods and strategies.
Definitely. I'm glad you're here, Jamie. Thank you. Who else? What about this course caught your attention? Why are you here? Go ahead and unmute yourself and share with the group.
I think for me, I started doing having a coach, and my goal is high. Yikes. So to do that, it's like, okay, I need to do everything I possibly can to make that happen. And when this came up, I'm like, great, another revenue, another way for me to start getting this going. So that's kind of what struck my fancy about it.
That's perfect. Thanks for chiming in, Lori. Okay, let's jump in. So if you're with me and this is the 10th time we've done a class together, or if this is the first time we've ever met online, just quick update. I'm fully Kellerized, all in Keller Williams. And so what I'm about to show you is like I said, a Keller Williams University course. However, it's free and available for anyone who wants to grow their business, with the understanding that if ever you want to have a conversation about joining Keller Williams, you're going to call me first, right? Everyone smile and nod your head. Say, yes, Rebecca, you're the one I'll call. So as I share, if there are any point along the way where I'm showing my screen and you don't have access to what it is I'm sharing, just email me and I will download whatever it is and email it back to you for free, okay? So the course itself, I'm going to just give a quick overview of why this class is in existence. And I think it's a great opportunity, like Jamie said, to just kind of look at what other people are doing, maybe remind yourself of what you should be doing. It's a little of what Lori said, where it's like, gosh, I got this big goal. I got to make sure that I'm activating every single income stream that I can so that I hit my goal. And so on the screen, thumbs up if you can see where it says the lead generation training program. Thank you, Sandy. Okay, so the whole concept of this course is that it's 12 courses. So the first one is an introduction, which I'm going to kind of speed through. Each of these sessions technically is like 3 hours each. However, I'm going to condense and just go over the intro and the validity and positioning for today, with the understanding that if you chime in on this call and then you're like, I just want to do it on my own, self-paced, I'm going to share my screen where you can go and download and have access to all of it. Because ultimately what this is it's like an audit. You're auditing your business right now to see, am I doing all these things in my business? For instance, validity and positioning. Have I branded my business? Am I clear and can I articulate why would someone want to hire me over another agent? 2, prospecting. What is prospecting? That's you actively going and generating new business. How and what methods are people using, and what could you potentially do to increase your lead generation? 3, marketing pieces. What are the marketing pieces that are proven to make your phone ring. 4, how to leverage a database. What actually happens within your database when you're tagging people. Christy Smith just talked about this the other day. She tags people in her database right down to some very interesting tags like golf lover, swimmer, curly hair, so that when she sees an article about something about curly hair, she sends it and goes, hey, Jamie, I saw this. It was curly hair, products and da-da-da. So like you use your database to leverage and be able to make your relationships go deeper. 5, working with METs. So I met you in person one time. You're in my sphere, and how to be purposeful about that relationship with your METs database. 6, farming. How do you identify a neighborhood that you would love to dominate and be that local area expert? 7, open houses, which right now in the midst of COVID-19, it would be virtual open houses. And how do you go about getting creative and using video and FaceTime and all the things to be virtual? 8, for sale by owner and expireds. Now, in the market of the moment that I'm in, we're not seeing this a whole lot. However, there are definite things that you could do to position yourself so that you have a for sale by owner packet. And why would a for sale by owner want to talk to you? Same with an expired, and just the strategies of how to attract more expired listings into your world. 9, agent referrals. How you at Keller Williams are a part of the world's largest referral network, and at your fingertips, I've got a whole other separate agent to agent database that I'll share. 10, how do you convert leads? And then 11, I can't count, hello, 11 comes after 10, living your goals. So this is the course. Why is it 36-12-3? Well, it's because they studied specific real estate agents to see what were the most used pillars within these real estate agents' businesses. And that's where the number came from, is that if you will commit to these activities, you'll see an increase in your business of 36 transactions or more. So this just goes into detail of each session. And so right now you could cherry pick. You could look at this list and go, thanks, Rebecca. I don't really want to hear you talk about validity today. I just want to jump on and talk about farming. Then you can absolutely do that here in the next few minutes, and I will not be offended. I'll show you where to go online to navigate and then download the appropriate session so that you could go through, or you can chime in with me every couple of weeks. We're going to be going through each one in depth together. So there are all the different sessions, okay? Now, let me close that out, and then I want you guys to see this next one here. When we have our real estate agent hat on, as I call it, I wear many hats, and I'm sure that all of you guys do as well. And how, especially now as moms in this business, are we going to be purposeful when we have our real estate hats on? Because we're flipping back and forth. It's like, I'm the hat, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I am the house cleaner, I'm the cook. Oh, and by the way, I'm a real estate agent running this major, crazy, amazing business. So when you have your real estate hat on, how can you be most purposeful about what you're doing? There are 4 goals when you're lead generating. Any lead generation effort is ultimately worthwhile if it puts you closer to business or referrals, even future business or referrals. So successful agents believe that there are 4 potential goals of lead generation, and any lead can be considered a good lead if it achieves any 2 of these goals. 1, that you're getting an appointment for business. 2, get a referral. 3, build a relationship for future business and referrals. Or 4, increase your METs database. So a good lead is one that leads an appointment, a referral, or the basis of a relationship for future business. This is your job. I mean, this is essentially when you've got your real estate hat on, this is your job. Now, what many people get stuck in, myself included, is negotiating contracts showing property, home inspections. We don't see this on this page right now. So mentally, we have to change our mindset, just like the Millionaire Real Estate Agent says, right? I mean, this is a book that I'm constantly referring to. If you don't have a copy and want one, let me know. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and the first 100 and something pages is all about mindset. You're in the lead generation business. You just so happen to sell houses. And I think we flip-flop it a lot, and we what would I say? We think we're busy, and yet we're not productive. These 4 things are the things that are going to move your business forward. And so you want to get an appointment, get a referral, build a relationship for future business referrals, or increase your MET database so that you're set for the future. All right. So any questions so far about what I've shared? You ready to hear more? Okay, cool. So let me get out of here, and I'm going to share my screen, and we'll go to desktop, and on my screen, we should have our slideshow. So are you with me? Lead generation 36123, the building validity and positioning is where we're going to jump into. So we're going to talk about what personal validity is, the powerful positioning, sprinting past the competition, and then putting it all together. So you're a real estate professional, and you have personal validity, and it's how you describe yourself. And then you've got how others describe you. And there's a 5-step model as to how you can have powerful positioning, which is step 3, defining the customer service experience, creating your unique value proposition, and then you purposely put together then your own unique selling proposition. And we're going to break it down now step by step so that you can kind of jot down what your own personal validity looks like. So what makes you valid? What makes you valid is the knowledge, the attitudes, the skills and beliefs that you already have. It's who are you? So on the next few pages, you're going to see it's the words, the phrases that you would use to describe yourself. And then it's the words and the phrases that others would use to describe you. Now, if there's anyone here that is brand new to real estate and you don't have any real estate validity whatsoever, what I would encourage you to do is get your phone out and text a past coworker or a past manager or supervisor. And I would just text and say, hey, Lori, it's Rebecca, and I just wanted to let you know I'm in real estate now, and I'm just curious. I'm building, a bit of a packet to give to future clients, and give me 3 words that you would use to describe me as a coworker when we used to work together. And let's pretend Lori then responds and says, well, you're friendly, you're upbeat, and you are really hardworking. And I go, wow, thanks so much. Those are great words. So I would then take those words and put them together with what I would personally, use to describe myself. And there are many ways in which you can take your history, what you did before, prior to launching your real estate business, and pull that in to real estate, whether it is customer service, expert negotiating skills, human resources experience. So what I would suggest is if you're struggling and you're not really sure what people have said about you, go back and see when you have surveyed past clients what they said about you, and circle a few words that keep coming up on a regular basis. If you're stuck, like I said, text a friend and just say, what are 3 words that you would use to describe me? I'm doing a class right now, and instructor just challenged me to get 3 new words. What are 3 words you would use to describe me? So that's an actionable step that you can take. So no matter what your story is, you are uniquely qualified, and you've got to look at what your experience is and then make it real estate relevant. So for me, like I've shared before, I don't have a degree. You may have a degree that is absolutely applicable and relevant to real estate, and so you could share and mention that. For me personally, it was customer service and going above and beyond for my clients, and that was in the restaurant business, in coffee, in retail, in whatever the background is that you've got. You just want to take the time to think about what you've done in the past and how you can pull that in to be relevant in your real estate business now. So when was the last time you looked at your resume? If you haven't done this in a while, pull it out. And do you have a real estate resume? Meaning, do you have something that you could give to clients? It's a 1-page that you could put into your packet, or it's a 1-page that you could have available to email to anyone that's thinking of working with you. And, a lot of times I'll put it into words that just are more generic and not real estate specific. I'll say, call me for a list of references. Those are past clients that have worked with me, that liked working with me, and that would put their name to me again. And so you want to consider your resume, what it is that you know, and think about your attitudes and beliefs. Now, to make it relevant to real estate, how is it beneficial to your current clients? And have you already used your experience to help your customers? So let's pause here, and I want you to think about this and unmute yourself and just share if there's something that's coming to mind that maybe you hadn't thought about before. Like you're thinking about what your resume has on it and how that now is helping you in your real estate business. Anyone have any thoughts they want to share? All right. Well, if you do, jot them down. We'll keep going. So consider what buyers and sellers say they want. So buyers want the agent to be honest and trustworthy, and their reputation is important. Sellers' reputation of the real estate agent is important, and honest and trustworthy. So this is from NAR. So I would say if those are 2 words that you can honestly say, like, I'm honest and trustworthy, those are things you would want to incorporate into your emails, into your 1-page, into your packets when you're talking with your clients. How do others describe you? So the compelling part of your validity is really showcasing your strengths. One word that people have used when describing me in the past, when I got client surveys back, on our closing checklist we have that we'll send a client survey out to all of our clients after the appraisals come in at value. And it's, what have we done to exceed your expectations? And, and then there's free form. And there was this word that kept coming up, which was tenacious. And at first, for whatever reason, I had this block, and I didn't think that was a good word, especially describing a woman. I don't know, there was something in my past, obviously, where I had a negative connotation to the word tenacious. But then I looked it up and I was like, wow, no, I am tenacious for my clients. I'm committed to helping them get what they want. I advocate for them. And so those are words that I use now when I meet with someone. Why should you hire me over someone else? Because I'm tenacious about helping you achieve your goal. And if that's to sell your house for this, or if it's to buy a house for that. And so you want to start using words that you look at and think of positively and that indicate what your strengths are. So persuasive picture of integrity. Think about people that you care about, people that you respect, people that you have great business relationships with, and past customers. What would they say about you? And highlight those words and start using those words when you're meeting with new clients that you're wanting to build validity with. So there's an exercise that you can choose to grab and do after class today. And that's asking for a testimonial. It's never too late to ask for a testimonial from a past client that you've done business with. So I would recommend, if you don't do this on a regular basis, start today. Add it to your closing checklist, that every time you sell a property on both the buy side and the sell side and a referral, that you follow up with that agent to ask for feedback. What was it like to work with me on this transaction? And then ask the client, you know, what's something I did that surprised you throughout the transaction? What was something I did that, you know, you really appreciated? And get that feedback so that then you can use that on social media, you can add it to websites. And the other part of it is that when you get those kinds of client surveys, it's an opportunity for you to see where you stand with those clients. Sometimes things have come back on those surveys that I wasn't even aware of. And it was something about the loan officer or escrow, or a factor that I was not even aware of, and it wasn't even on my radar. And it's now helped me kind of change the way we do things moving forward. So if you want an actionable thing to do after class today, do this. Go back and send an email or make a phone call to a past client and just say, I'd love to hear, what was your experience like working with me? And then you can take that information and add it to your business page, or add it to your listing or buyer packet. So powerful positioning. How to stand apart from the crowd, define what your customer service is, create your value proposition, and then your unique selling proposition. So your customer service. For buyers, 53% of all buyers want you to help them find the right home to purchase. And they want you to help negotiate through the terms, help price negotiations, determine comparable homes, what they're selling for, help with the paperwork, you know, how much can they afford, help and arrange for the financing, teach them about the area or neighborhood, and then help find renters for buyers' property. So this is what potential buyers are wanting from you. So these are literally things that you could take right out of here to say in a social media post, or in a packet, or in a video. You know, I'm here to help you negotiate through the terms of the sale. And then you can define what those things are, and that's how you're bringing in that level of customer service. On the selling side, 23% of sellers want help seller market home to potential buyers. So if you don't have a marketing plan in your listing packet right now, you need to. Because if you take the class from Gene Rivers, he says all real estate agents do three things: put the house on the market, put a sign in the yard, pray that it sells. Those are the 3 Ps. However, you and I both know there is so much more to selling a home than that. And you've got to take the time to kind of define and then describe what those things are, like the reverse prospecting that we can do in the MLS, like the Keller Williams listing service, where literally it's syndicating out to over 350 different websites, like Keller Williams Luxury. It doesn't just go on the local MLS, it goes on the global MLS. So you want to define what those things are and how it brings value. Do you have designations? Define those designations. You know, there's nothing worse than the alphabet soup after a real estate agent's name, and no one really even understands what they all mean. The SRES, Senior Real Estate Specialist, and then define what those things are in detail so that they understand what makes you unique. Sellers also want you to sell the home in a specific time frame. They want the home priced competitively, and help find a buyer for the home, help fix up the home, negotiate deals, do the paperwork. That's what a seller wants from you. So what services do you offer? Analyze needs and wants, determine price strategy, advising on repairs, what should they fix, what shouldn't they fix, how to develop a personalized marketing plan for their property, evaluating offers, negotiating counteroffers, preparing post-contract work list, coordinating document preparation. You see, the whole transaction, they estimate about 192 tasks from the beginning of a transaction to the end. And if you've got a checklist going in on your listing consultation and you say, Mr. Seller, this is the beginning of our relationship and just know I have a checklist for everything, it's going to put them at ease. And then you can walk through exactly what you provide along the way. So in the packet that I'm going to upload as a PDF download for everybody on the call today, actually, you know what? I'll do it right now. And that way we won't. I'm going to pop off of my share screen for a minute. And I'm going to go to the chat box right now. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to share the full PDF folder of the class that we are doing right now together, so that you.
How do you get to the chat feature?
So I'm going to drop something in here right now, and then you'll see it pop up over here. So hi, I'm going to say, here's the PDF for this session.
Yeah.
So it should pop up with a little notification, and then when you click chat, the chat box will pop up on the right hand side, and then you'll see here and it says click to open, and that's where you can download the full PDF of the session. Do you see it there?
No, this thing right up here will open it all the way up.
Awesome. Now, if for whatever reason it doesn't show up there, let me know and I can always email it to you as well. All right. Okay, so let me go back over here and I'll go back here so that you guys can go deeper into that after class if you want to, just so that we keep things moving along for the moment. Okay, so I'm back on my PowerPoint presentation and it says powerful positioning. Step 4 is create your value proposition. Distill services into benefits. It says that what you're doing for the customer explains the complexity of what you do and keeps you accountable, and then states the customer specific benefits. Now, okay, hang on, let me pause. I need to see all of you. Okay, so when it comes to your ideal client, I want you to think about this for a minute. When was the last time you identified who your ideal client is? And what I mean by that is I want you to literally just grab a blank piece of paper and I want you to write down, here's my house, and within a certain mile radius around my house, here are the areas that I would love to sell real estate in. For me personally, you know, I don't want to go further than 20 or 30 minutes north, or I live here. Am I willing to go over the bridge to Gig Harbor? Yes, I am. I don't know that I'd really want to go further than, you know, this Purdy Bridge or whatever it ends up being. Where you live, you've got to identify the territory for your ideal client. It could also be, like I used to live in Federal Way, so I'm really familiar with Federal Way, Northeast Tacoma area, and jot down my ideal client would be in these particular neighborhoods. I'm familiar with them. Now, the other thing is identifying an ideal client could be who, the actual client that I've got something in common with. So I know Mr. Hunter on the call, one of the things that makes him very unique and very different to me is that he's got military background. I'm Canadian. I don't have any family here that are active duty military. And so does Aaron have a unique proposition where he can come and say, language, he can use terminology to communicate with a very specific type of community of people that I never really could. He's probably a part of some pretty cool Facebook groups too that I'll never be invited to be a part of because of what he's done in the past. Now, you have the exact same thing. Just like my background is Alaska Airlines, Horizon Airlines, and there's a old Alaska Horizon past employees Facebook group on social media that I can jump in and be a part of this community. Well, if you haven't worked there, you're not going to be allowed in that group. So I've given you 2 examples. I want you to think through for yourself, what are some of those community groups or private groups that you're a part of where those are your ideal clients? Those are the people that you're going to talk this language and connect with them on a deeper level than maybe others that you wouldn't. So I'll give you another example. Ideal client. When I was working full-time, Monday through Friday job and doing real estate on the side, my ideal client were listings. My ideal listings were out-of-state sellers who didn't live here because they were unemotional, they were motivated to sell, and they were pretty trusting. And everything was done through e-signature, and so they trusted me. So I created this whole program where I sent out these mailers to out-of-state sellers who owned property in my ideal neighborhood. And then I said, as a local real estate agent living here in the area, I have staging, photography, and I literally have a checklist of things so that I can sell your house from a distance. Give me a call. You've built equity in your home. And people called. Because people that don't live here locally don't understand how hot the market is that we're in right now. And so if you target people in that regard and you identify your ideal client is an unemotional seller who's motivated to sell quickly, then all of a sudden your brain starts thinking through, where would I go? How would I find those lists? Where would I go and attract that ideal client? So when you're building your lead generation strategy, it's important that you identify who is your ideal client, what is your ideal territory, and then outside of that territory, you strategically start positioning yourself with partners. For instance, I live in University Place, Washington. Could I physically drive to Bellingham and sell a home? Yes, I could. However, I don't want to because that's about a 3-hour drive. So I'm going to connect with a local Bellingham agent and just say, hey, if I ever get leads that are generated up in your area, would you be willing to be my referral partner? They're going to say yes. And then before you hang up the phone, you say, hey, I live down here, and I'm pretty sure you probably wouldn't want to do the 3-hour drive down my way, right? I'd love to be your referral partner. How can we market together? How can we network? How can we do things to be able to support each other's businesses? So when you're identifying your unique value proposition, it's just as much important for you to visualize who your ideal client is. And it changes. It can change by the year, it can change by the quarter. Right now, especially because, so many parents are going to be teaching from home. The reality is that your ideal territory this year for this last quarter might look very different than it did a year ago. So I just wanted to share that. Okay, let's jump back into our PowerPoint. So example of your value proposition in your work packet on page 24, it talks about it. What are my services? And then what are the benefits for the client? And then it talks through what's my special knowledge and expertise. Maybe you're bilingual. Where is it that you were born? I'm a part of Canadian only group. Sorry, folks. It says Canadians living in Seattle. There's such a Facebook group for that. If you like sunsets, there's a Facebook group for that. If you like biking, if you like water sports, if you're a boater, if you're a fisherman, you get it. You got to get into those social media groups to be able to connect with people that you've got something in common with. And then your value proposition is going to then be the office. Like right now, our office is the #1 office in the entire county. We have the most agents. We sell the most amount of real estate. That's something you should probably mention when you're on a listing appointment. It doesn't even matter if you haven't physically sold a house and you're a brand new agent. You're a part of the winning team. And so making sure that you bring that type of value proposition to the table is huge. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving because we've got to, okay, now create your unique selling proposition by combining validity, services, and your value proposition. So your unique, memorable, and persuasive statement and how to advance your presentation. So making sure that your words sound like you and communicate what it is you're wanting to communicate. So for me as like an instructor, the whole point of me teaching class is to influence and inspire others to live a life of purpose and significance. So that's my value proposition, and my mission statement as an instructor is I want to say something today in our time together that somehow inspires you to go take action, even if it's just one thing you're going to do to go and grow your business. So in your business, what is it? What is it? Why? Why would people hire you to be their real estate agent over another agent? And then you want to word it cleverly and uniquely so it sounds like you. Actually, what I'll do is, okay, I'm going to share. Okay, so on my screen, I'm going to share an example. Okay, can you see this here? It says Rebecca Del Pozo and Company. So when I established my LLC, this was what I created. The mission of our company is to enrich the lives of others by serving them in all their real estate needs, to accept all, create a place for them to belong, and care for them like family. Our values are God, family, then business, to service our clients in all their real estate needs by delivering impeccable customer service and care. Our belief system are the Keller Williams Y4C2Ts. And then our perspective is a real estate team who create a sense of belonging by having fun, inspiring others to enjoy a life of fullness, meaning, and purpose. And there are specific scripture verses that have meant a lot to me personally. And a part of that is my story. I'm adopted from birth. And so there's always been this longing in me that I want people to feel like they belong. I want people to feel included. And I think that's because ultimately I was the receiver of that kind of love and care and acceptance. And so now I want to go and give that to other people. And I do that through real estate. Real estate is just the excuse that I believe God uses to put me in the path of other people that I get to help. So that's my own personal story. Now, you can go copy the to enrich the lives of others by serving them in all of their real estate needs, right? Anyone could really say that or use that. However, the last part of me explaining to you why these words were chosen and why we choose, it's unique to me, right? And you're going to go and create your own reason of why someone would want to work with you and what makes that experience unique to you. All right. So your unique selling proposition is ready for you and you grab it. And then when you go into a listing appointment or a buyer consultation or a Zoom meeting of any kind or a phone call, you are able to communicate why you are unique and why they would want to work with you over someone else. So we've got a couple of action steps that I'm going to share my screen real quick too, so that you guys can see exactly where to go for the 192 task list, and then where to go to download all of these different downloads for the entire session, the 12 sessions. But before we do, I'd love if you could share what's something you've heard, or just share some ahas. What have you learned in our time together so far? You can unmute yourself and share with the group.
I think, Rebecca, one of the things I would say would be, I have never thought about making a resume as a real estate agent. Never thought about that before. And then using, we get a lot of feedback from people that we work with. And so I could go back and look at all of those and see the words that they have to say. In fact, I just got one now as we've been doing this class. So it'd be fun to go back and see what they have to say.
That's awesome. Thanks, Lori. The surveys are huge. And when to send a survey is something we're constantly working through. We used to send it after closing, but we found they didn't always send them back right away. And so we have a process where we do it right after the appraisal is in at value, because spirits are high and they haven't gone into the crazy crunch of like packing and stress just yet. And so we do a survey then, and if they don't respond to our online survey, then they get a paper survey with an already stamped return envelope so that we get it back and it doesn't cost them anything. So using the surveys to then put together a resume, and then using the surveys to describe what it's like to work with you, that's huge. Thanks for sharing. Who else? What's something you've heard or that you're going to go and implement?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, the one thing that really stood out to me is understanding the three things that you are presenting to people about yourself that they should really latch on to it. And the three things that I look at is helping people understand their power to get involved with real estate, and what is their purpose? What is their purpose in life? And then, in fact, how can they prosper in real estate? So power, purpose, and prosperity are the three things that I try to put forefront anytime I'm talking with anybody in relationship to real estate or in life in general.
Absolutely. That's
And I
awesome.
think the way you laid it out there is giving me some good ideas of how you form your LLC. I hope is this PowerPoint's going to be here, because I want to look at that and see if I can structure mine somewhat like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing, Erin. That's great. All right. Anyone else? Okay. What I'm going to do is I am going to share so that I can jump on, let's see. I want to share a Chrome so that we get into the MyKDub. So, okay. So actually that's too far. Okay. So when you log in to the intranet, the Keller Williams intranet on the screen right here, can you see my profile? And it says 100%. If your profile is not 100% and you want the trick of how to do that, just email me and I'll send you the little list. We figured out the algorithm and we'll share it with you. To get to the PowerPoints, to get to every session, the free download PDF student files, all you do is click on Education. And then right up here where there's a magnifying glass right next to the upload button, you're going to want to type in 36123 and hit enter. And then scroll down and you'll see it here. Anytime it's a Keller Williams University approved course, the little KWU shows up right there. And then here, this blue link describing the course itself, if you click on this, it's a hyperlink. And it takes you to the web page specifically for this course. Now, it's a little deceiving because see here it says purchase course materials. You're not going to do that. You're going to click on the materials tab. And then on the left-hand side, it says student files. And this is a zip folder of all 12 sessions. And then the final student PDFs are available there as well. And then PowerPoints are available for download. This is what's cool about Keller Williams, you guys, is yes, you know, we can go and do these big regional events before COVID. Now more than ever before, it's time for us to audit our own businesses and download these courses for ourselves to be able to go and like, am I doing all these things in my business? Am I using all of the different legs of the stool to really move my business forward by that additional 36 transactions or more? The other thing that I'll show you here is kellerinc.com. So I'll grab this and go here. kellerinc.com. Go to resources, and then the very first option is Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and there's the 192 tasks list for megas, and this is a free download. There's also the Millionaire Real Estate Agent figures, the tasks, the quiz, the economic model exercise, your big why, the chart of accounts examples, all those things are there. So the 192 tasks for megas. When you click on download, it opens up an Excel spreadsheet. And let's see if it's gonna open itself up here. So I'll share. When I saw this for the first time, like, it was overwhelming. So don't be overwhelmed. I'm just giving you the warning right now, okay? You'll give this to the director of operations or your executive assistant, and they'll just like, they'll geek out on it and absolutely love it. So, okay, so can you see here? Okay, so I just lost you guys. I can't see you right now, but hopefully you can see this. So this is an Excel spreadsheet with an overview, and then an agent, the administrative manager, the transaction coordinator, all the different roles within the team, and then all the different MREA levels of business of who does what, and then whose responsibility and priority it is. And I mean, it goes on and on and on. And so if ever you're wanting to articulate with your team members, like, here are the things that I'm gonna focus on, and these are my priorities, and then here are the things I'd love for you to focus on and prioritize, this is a really great list. And this comes straight out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Okay, so any questions about anything else that we've covered, or we're going to jump off. This is the first kind of intro session number 1 to 11 more sessions. And so every couple of weeks, you're going to see this pop up, and it will say, okay, lead generation session number 2. And then we went through what all of those were. So like where we are right now, I'll just give you this overview again. Is this. So we're here. We are on the introduction and session number 1, which is validity and positioning. So the next session we're going to talk about is prospecting. So prospecting-based business, and then marketing-based business, and then how to leverage your database. And so as we do that, like I said, at any point you can download and kind of skip ahead, or you can chime in, and every couple of weeks we're going to be doing this together. So any questions about lead generation, real estate, life in general? Anything else that that we need to talk about that maybe we haven't before we jump off this call today?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
When with the, let me get the correct terminology, in the closing packet, or well, no, not in the closing packet, the survey that you talked about,
Mm-hmm.
what are some good questions to get either a client or an agent thinking about what to say? Like you said, what did they appreciate that I did? Things along those lines.
Yeah, let me just share mine with you real fast. I'll pull it up. That's a great question. Thanks for asking, Sandy. Okay, so in our chat box, I'm going to drop our paper survey
Oh, cool.
example,
Thank
and
you.
this is the one that we just sent to the Larsons. It's really nothing fancy, and we tweak it every now and then. We keep it simple on one page so you don't have to use a staple for anything. And I will grab it here and then share with the group so you can see it real quick on the screen. Larson paper survey. Okay, so congratulations on the successful closing of your home. We just want to let you know how much we appreciate you and feel that that we've been an asset to the successful conclusion, and we'd like to ask a favor. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate our performance and why? What could we have done to make it a 10 plus? What did we do for you that you found most valuable? What didn't we do for you, or service didn't we provide that would have helped you? And then we just ask for any free form comments, and then can we use these comments publicly, yes or no? And we found that if we just keep it very short and sweet, one page, very simple, jot, 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 that's probably the quick and easiest way to get responses. And then we, like I said, we include a pre-postaged envelope so that it's not costing them anything, but just a few minutes of time. For the survey itself digitally, we just created a Google form through our Google Docs suite. And it's like it's called a form, the Google forms, and you have to kind of go in and create those questions and then give the different answer options, and then those show up as responses, and we get notified whenever someone's completed one. So that's a great question. Thanks so much. Any other questions? Okay, well, we've got our friends that are live right now. We've got lots of friends that are going to be watching this later. So as I said, if there's anything I've talked about that you're wanting to see more of or get a copy of, or you want to be reminded of where to navigate to go and have access to that information, please don't hesitate to call me or email me anytime. And hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys.